many Kenyans, turned up. I know you already have those numbers. Unfortunately, we have nothing to compare here because, as you know, this is the first time that the people, the Kenyans here, are voting. And so, probably just to say, I've been seeing a lot of chatter right now, so to speak, on social media, especially now that the numbers are out there, showing very clearly that most of the places that they voted here in Washington, D.C., in New York, and in Los Angeles, that looks like Azimio la Umoja Kenya, carried the day. So there's a lot of that. But just to go back to your question, yes, there was a lot of activity in Washington, and what we are hearing is that the turnout, comparatively speaking, was pretty good compared to the many places that we are hearing about there in Kenya. Mainly about how difficult it is to even get to these polling stations here in the United States. And I think this has been prosecuted, many times about how vast, as you know, that in the United States is so vast, and therefore one of the main things that they talk about is how difficult it is and how they have to pay so much to just come and make their opinion known through the vote. That's one thing that many Kenyans here are saying, ones that were registered and had to travel, so far to make to vote. Earlier today, I was speaking to a lady she told me she's from Marsabit, and I asked her, so why is it important for you to cast your ballot here? Yet you know very well that you are only voting for the president. And she said many of the challenges that she knows that her people are facing in Kenya could be sorted out through getting the right leadership at the top. But mainly, as I think it was earlier today, because I was watching the gentleman that we spoke to in Canada, what he was saying about the Kenyans in the diaspora needing more representation, especially, of course, because of the financial muscle that they do have. Many people here in the diaspora say that the reason, eventually they will be able to vote for even the other positions, the main reason is because they feel that they contribute so much and they need their voices to be heard, not just through the vote, but also representation in parliament and in other areas of leadership in the country. Another very good question, because I posed that same question to the ambassador, the Kenyan ambassador here in Washington, Lazara Zamayo, earlier today, and he said, first of all, at least they will need about 10 consulates, if not embassies, here in the United States, mainly because of the vastness, as I say. And they mentioned that one of the places that needs a consulate like tomorrow, like yesterday, would be in Texas, someplace, one of the cities in Texas, because of the number of Kenyans, the sheer number of Kenyans that live there. So that is according to the ambassador. But speaking to the people, obviously most of the Kenyans that would be in where the cities there are big numbers of them, would say that they deserve to have a place. And as things stand now, of course, where you have to vote, you vote is either a consulate or an embassy, and therefore I think in my estimate it will be about 10.
So we have
three
now, another 7 or so.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah, and just to add on to what the gentleman, I think I was not on this show, but someone was mentioning to me earlier today how how big the United States is. It's like traveling. Sometimes some places here would be like traveling from Kenya to Europe. Just the time it takes to just fly around, and just that in itself. I spoke to people that I used to live with in Atlanta today, and they were telling me you don't spend anything less than $1,000 to just come over, whether you're flying or you are driving. At least $1,000 to get here and get back. Now there are people who have said that this vote that in the diaspora vote is mainly just a symbolic thing. But those that I spoke to, and there were quite a number, comparing them to the number that had registered, they feel that it's very important for them to make this point that even though they know their vote might not count a whole lot, especially when it comes to those other elected positions, that they needed to make their point. I think you have an idea of what I'm about to tell you, that it's not very easy. We are now talking about the diaspora in general, not just in the United States. It's not very easy to really know the exact number of Kenyans that are around the world. Mainly, one of the reasons, as it was mentioned earlier, was that not many of them really want to come out for one reason or the other. And therefore, we can talk about leveraging on the numbers, but until we know for a fact how many of us are out here, it will be very difficult. And even just to look at the number of people that were registered here in Washington D.C., for instance, 344, and clearly, at least there are over 100,000 Kenyans here. And they don't ask for so many documents to register to vote as a Kenyan. So maybe in the future, when we get proper data, maybe we can then talk about it.